Welcome to Star Wars Outlook. Somebody at D23 recorded the first look at Star Wars Starfighter. It has leaked. It's pretty easy to find if you want to find it. I'm not going to react to it, but I am going to tell you guys 5 things that I want from Star Wars Starfighter. Let's get into it. So I will say the leak didn't show too much, but what it did show was pretty incredible. I'm kind of hoping the official trailer is different, and when I react to that, it can be different. But I will say some leaks from like D23 and stuff are always like, they look like they're recorded on a Crayola crayon or something. This was crisp and clear. I watched it on TikTok and we saw some just absolutely mint stuff. So I think this movie has a lot of potential. I don't think Ryan Gosling would be in a movie that is like that bad. His career has really kind of popped off over the last few years. So yeah, we're gonna get right into it. These are 5 things that I want to see in Ryan Gosling's movie in no particular order. So right off the bat, I'm going to say it, and this is maybe kind of silly to some people, but I hope we see lightsabers in this movie. I know that there is some Jedi connections based on some leaks and stuff with Amy Adams' character and stuff. There does seem to be some sort of plot line of Jedi and maybe some sort of Sith. We don't really know yet that they're being hunted by, but man, I hope Ryan Gosling's character, Cade, does pull out a lightsaber. He seems to be some kind of like more hardcore guy. He's not like the good guy, but he's not the bad guy, you know. But I don't want to see a ton of lightsabers. I do want this movie to treat it like the original trilogy did, where maybe you have no idea that he's got this weapon. He's escorting this kid who's, I think his name is Flynn. Is it Flynn Gray? Him through the galaxy to get him to the Jedi Order is kind of what we're hearing is going to be the main plot line. And then, last minute, maybe he pulls out a lightsaber. And I want the lightsaber to be a really cool color. Maybe something we've not seen in the films before. Like in Ahsoka, we've got this really like cool cyan, double-edged, like with the little blade in the middle, like that color. I think that's the first time we've seen that in live-action Star Wars for sure, possibly animated. I know like in Fallen Order and other games, like the Star Wars, the lightsaber color is kind of like more universal. Like you can kind of mess with it a little bit more. So I'm hoping we do something like that and Ryan Gosling gets a sick new color and Lego has to give us a sick new lightsaber color. That would be awesome. But lightsabers are so important to Star Wars. I mean, without lightsabers, Star Wars wouldn't be everything it could be, arguably. I mean, the lightsaber is the coolest piece of technology that's ever been created in fiction, period. So I hope, as simple as that sounds, I hope we get lightsabers. The next thing I think we're gonna for sure get is some of the best dogfighting we've ever seen in Star Wars. In a movie called Star Wars Starfighter, if we're not seeing some speed and incredible freaking action in these things, it's a complete missed opportunity. I don't remember the ship that Ryan Gosling's gonna be flying, but I can tell you it looks so freaking cool. It's like an Imperial, like a retired Imperial Starfighter, and it's like super fast and all this thing kind of stuff. This feels like so original. Like I know we've had like speed and stuff and ship. One thing I think about a lot when it comes to that is when the Mandalorian when the Razor Crest blew up and he got the new N1 Starfighter in, was that the Book of Boba Fett that he got that? Or Mando season 2.5, depending on how you want to look at it. And we had that really cool scene where he's going through the canyon and stuff. So hopefully we get something like that. But I want this to be even quicker than that, man. I want this to be stuff we've never even freaking seen before. And I think we're going to get that based on just the title alone. And that ship, man, there's no way Lego's not going to make a set for it. Number 3, this might be a little controversial. As much as I want this movie to be something new, I want a connection to the past films. This movie, from what we're hearing, takes place 5 years after the Rise of Skywalker. So in my head, honestly, I would be fine if we had a little glimpse of Rey and in the new Jedi Order that she has created. Her character is what it is. I'm gonna do a whole video on has Disney been bad for Star Wars or good for Star Wars. But we all can agree that those sequel movies really were not what we wanted them to be. But that character, I still stand by the fact that I think that character has a lot of potential. And I think going forward, we could see some incredible stuff. A lot of people don't like to bring this up, but at one point, the prequel trilogy had a lot of gaps. I grew up with the prequel trilogy. had some gaps that needed to be filled out. And when we got the Clone Wars, it fleshed it out. I think the sequels could benefit greatly from this film, somewhat loosely connecting to it in a way, but not really mentioning a bunch of stuff. Maybe just throw Rey in like the end. Maybe he's bringing Flynn to Rey, to this new Jedi Order, and we get like a few minutes of her and her character. I think that would be so sick. While I do want this to be something new and something fresh, I don't want it to completely ignore the legacy of Star Wars. I think there still needs to be a connection somewhat. And this is going to kind of like contradict that maybe for my next thing I want to see in Star Wars Starfighter. But while I do want it to connect somewhat and give homage and pay respect to the past, I also want it to look to the future, and I want it to feel completely fresh while still having that Star Wars vibe to it. One thing I never thought about Star Wars as is I never thought about Star Wars as the Skywalker saga. I just thought about Star Wars as Star Wars. And honestly, even though each Star Wars movie is like poetry, George said it's like poetry, it rhymes, most Star Wars movies are fresh, even the bad ones. I never sat here and viewed this whole saga as just one thing. Like, it was just Star Wars to me. So when a new Star Wars movie came out and it was new and fresh, like, it still paid homage. Like, you can have both. Like, this movie can be set in the future, and while it may pay homage, it can still introduce us to all these new characters that I think it's going to do and make us fall in love with these characters while still connecting to the overall story that Star Wars set, that George created. And I think that's what it needs to do. I think Sean Levy's got like a lot on his plate to try to do that, but I think he can do it, man. I mean, I have faith in him. I think this movie's going to be awesome. And the last thing I want to see is I want to see a mature story. I listened to some people today talk about Star Wars doing this thing with the older mentor character and the younger kind of cutesy character, very similar to Mandalorian and Grogu. And we just had that movie where it was like the father figure character and the son character. And Star Wars Starfighter kind of having a similar vibe is a little strange. And I understand that. What I think would set this apart is if this story, while still being family friendly, Star Wars needs to be a family friendly series, in my opinion. It always has been made for families. This story needs to take a bit of a mature turn, where The Mandalorian and Grogu, I think, is a completely fine movie. Some people say that movie's made for toddlers. I don't look at that as an insult at all. To me, that movie is perfect. My son is 5 years old, and he had a blast with that movie. I had a blast with that movie. But it is time that maybe this movie can give something that Star Wars fans are kind of craving, and that's something a little more serious, something with a little more meat on the bone. And I think we're going to get that based on everything we're hearing with Matt Smith's character and this kind of hunt movie. It sounds like we're getting a chase movie, and chase movies are always fun if they're done right. And I think Sean Levy and Ryan Gosling and I think the whole cast and crew are going to give us such an incredible movie. I'm so excited for this movie, and if we can like get some of these things that I want, like, I think we're going to be in for something really special. Like I said, everything they showed in that leak was something like stuff that felt very familiar, but something fresh. If we can just get the lightsabers and the awesome dogfighting like I think we're going to get, I think we're in for something incredible. It's really not that far away until the movie comes out. We're going to be getting Ahsoka Season 2, and then we're pretty much going to be going right into Star Wars Starfighter, and then the re-release of the original Star Wars movie as it was originally released way back then theatrically. I literally can't wait. The 50th anniversary is looking bright for Star Wars fans. If there's something you want to see in Star Wars Starfighter, let me know down in the comments below. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be posting a lot more Star Wars content, both movies, shows, Lego, you name it. If it's Star Wars, I'm going to talk about it. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.